really disagrees with what the department decided to do. But I think we need to focus on what we're here to talk about today, which is whether or not this appeal should be dismissed as moot because we've already provided the records pursuant to an agreement and without fee, or whether, or an alternative, just to from the city's initial denial of fee waiver as a reasonable determination. So to begin, excuse me, I actually have to pull for this. The appeal's moved because we looked at the initial, we made the initial estimate based upon petitioner's request, which was all data and information used for the transportation division, particularly the percentage lien reduction. So we had already provided the bulk of the police reports that would answer this question. And we went through and spent the staff time to determine what else we would need to pull together, and made a fee estimate on that. After we came to an agreement with the petitioner on the records he was interested in, we determined that was a much smaller quality of records and that it would not be unreasonable for the city to provide those free of charge. So we did that. Petitioner agreed to withdraw his appeal. He refused to withdraw his appeal even after we had performed our part of that agreement. So I would urge this committee to dismiss this appeal as moot because petitioner has already received the records he's requested free of charge. If petitioner has other records he's interested in seeking, he's free to file additional GRAMA requests. If he wants to figure out if there are any other records that indicate whether or not the Transportation Division looked at the 2015 factors or the Federal Highway Report, he's welcome to do that. But those are separate requests that aren't pertinent to this proceeding today. Second, even if there are additional records that are actually responsive to this request at hand, that the petitioner is still seeking a fee waiver for, the original fee waiver denial by the city was reasonable. Utah Code permits governmental entities to charge reasonable fees to cover the cost of competitive records. Government entities may fulfill a record request and is encouraged to do so if the governmental entity determines that it should waive fees based on three different circumstances. One is the individuals requesting the record is the subject of the record. Two, the individual's legal rights are implicated in the requester's impecunious. And three, if releasing the record primarily benefits the public rather than the person. Well, two of those criteria just don't apply here. Petitioner is not the subject of the record. Petitioner's legal rights are not implicated and is not impecunious. And certainly presented no evidence of being so. So the city went through and looked at that last factor of whether releasing the record primarily benefits the public rather than the person, and also applied the factors from its fee waiver policy, which is adopted directly from the state. That fee waiver policy looks at whether or not the request is reasonably broad or focused. And in this case, it was pretty broad. All data and information. That can mean a lot of things. That can mean every single report any transportation person looked at to make this determination. Whether or not the release of the documents would contribute significantly to the public understanding of the operations of Salt Lake City. All this information is already publicly available on Transportation's website. They've listed information about the project, they've listed links to information that they've looked at to do this project through the Federal Highway Administration reports, and they've listed all the different statistics. I understand that petitioner interprets the data differently. That's not an issue here today, whether or not the two people are looking at the information in the same way. What is at issue is that all that information is available on the website, which petitioner responded to directly. Another factor under the city's fee waiver policy is with expenditure, time and resources requesting significantly affect the city's ability to meet its transportation doesn't have a full-time person to respond to GRAMA requests, so this would be staff time, and we estimated about 9 hours initially of staff time to go through, compile the records, and put them in the format that would be made available to petitioners. That's 9 hours of time, of taxpayer-funded time that the staff person could be doing other duties for transportation. That's a full day of work, and then some change. And then there are the other two factors are the other methods available to a requester to obtain the information sought and have those been used. Much of the information is publicly available. The federal highway reports are online. Like I said, all the information is already published on the city's website. Petitioner's been pointed to that. Petitioner already has all the police reports from the first request that answered the first question about the lane reduction resulting in the reduction in crashes. And then the last factor is how frequently has this requester or organization made requests and whether or not a fee waiver was received. The 2 requests before this one was the one for the police reports. And that was about a $1,300 fee waiver that the city granted to produce those records. So overall, the city took all of these factors and really went through an analysis and thought, all right, is it reasonable right now? Is it fair to deny the fee waiver under these circumstances? And it made the determination that it is. There's not a whole lot of statutory criteria about what's reasonable, about what's in the public interest. These are determinations that the city has to make. And it was one that went through its own factors, applied its own policies, and it acted in a reasonable manner. So in the end, I'd ask you either to dismiss petitioner's appeal as moot or uphold the city's denial of the fee waiver as reasonable.
So I'm confused because the basis on which you would ask us to find the request moot is that you've provided all the records that are responsive to the request, correct?
Right.
So you're saying that you have provided the records responsive to number 1, which is the data and information used by the Transportation Division to conclude that reducing the lanes on 900 West in Poplar Grove area would result in 19 to 22% reduction in crashes. I hear you saying you produce the data because it's online and available. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, so what transportation went back and looked at, okay, what did we look at when we made this determination? And so the staff member looked and said, I looked at these federal highway reports that were online. I looked at all these different police reports, which were the ones that were previously produced, to make this determination. And I looked at traffic counts, which have already been produced. I looked at all these different things, and this is how I came to the conclusion that it would reduce the crashes by 19 to 29%.
Just a follow-up. So if you produce all the responsive requests, then what additional work is it that you think you're, I mean, it's contrary. Either you've produced all the records, then there's no additional work to be done because all the records have been produced.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
all the records have not been produced, and to produce them is 9 hours of work.
So this is a little confusing because the fee waiver denial was made right when petitioner requested the fee waiver. And that's as far as the request got, and then he appealed that to the chief administrative officer who upheld it, and then appealed it to the state records committee. So, and after that, we came to an agreement with the petitioner.
Okay, so let's stop with the agreement, all right? I don't want to hear about the agreement. I want to hear about the original request. The agreement is not mine. So from the original request, all right, start from there. That's what we're talking about, the original request. Is there additional work to fulfill the initial request?
if we back up and don't count all the records that we've already given him at this point, is that what you're asking?
I'm asking to forget about the agreement. All right?
Okay.
I'm asking you to look at the initial.
The initial
request.
estimate, okay, so under the initial estimate, first of all, we weren't quite sure what all data and information might be. And that might be going through and seeing if there were different, sorting through additional police reports, we weren't sure that might be responsive to that. At that point, it was still getting together the traffic counts, getting together the mailings, getting together the list of the addresses, and also the last one, which is the 24 to 29% on California Avenue, which was an entirely separate project. So none of those documents have been retrieved, compiled, or produced to the petitioner at the time that we made the fee estimate.
So that is part of the initial request.
Right.
That hasn't been provided. And that's the 9 hours of work?
That was what the 9-hour estimate was based upon. Subsequent to that, a lot of those records have been provided.
So a lot of them have already been
Yes.
provided.
Yeah,
So the 9 hours of time is an estimate of what
Yes.
remaining needs to go through?
that was the initial estimate we made when the petitioner made the request. So I don't have an estimate of what it would be now for going back and figuring out what other records the petitioner's looking for.
All right, but let's focus on, are there additional records that are responsive to the request that could be provided to the petitioner? From the
So
initial request?
that have not already been provided?
Yes.
Okay.
Not
Free
been
of charge.
provided,
Okay.
not regardless of free
Okay.
of
Yeah,
charge or
regardless
not.
of free of charge.
I
Right?
don't care about the fee right now. All we want to know is if you've fulfilled the request in its entirety, or are there additional records that you could provide?
So there are the list of the mailings, actually, copies of the mailings were attached to my brief, so those have been provided. The list of addresses that the mailings were sent to could be provided. That would be one additional record that the city could provide. And then there may be some additional police reports that would be responsive to the first category of requests.
Okay,
So-
so there are some.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Okay.
Sorry, well, I'll get there for you.
How do you know there may be, just because you're willing to go back and look again, or?
No, because I talked to the staff member and we went through it
Okay.
and that's how. we
Because
got
there might be additional police reports as the delta between what you provided in response to a previous request
Correct,
and what are available now.
correct.
Okay. Other questions from respondent? All right, Mr. Clary, you have 5 minutes to close.